let's pivot and let's get to it. So the first thing is we got to address what's going on over in LA. So recently a man said that he got robbed of his Rolex. They tried to take his old school car, and they over there robbing trains. Take a look.
It happened on Thursday night right before 5 o'clock, so there were plenty of witnesses.
Oh!
A robbery in progress.
Is that a Cobra?
Right in the middle of Wilshire Boulevard.
That looked like a Cobra. That car is beautiful. Oh!
A robbery in progress right in the middle of Wilshire Boulevard near.
Those must have been some of the people that attended the Kendrick Lamar concert. Nah, don't worry about it.
Willamette Drive in Beverly Hills.
The suspects approached the victim and presented a firearm and demanded his Rolex watch.
The victim had been waiting for a tow truck to load his specialty car when the men jumped out of their vehicle with a gun.
It just so happened to be that a City of Beverly Hills employee, one of our traffic control officers, was arriving on scene of that tow and saw the crime in progress and immediately got on the police radio to our communications center.
High tech.
How do y'all just rob people in the broad daylight and don't have no fear whatsoever? How do y'all rob people in broad daylight and have no, at 5 o'clock, this is the middle of rush hour, meaning that traffic ain't even done yet. In the middle of rush hour with a guy that got a specialty car and you get out to rob him of his Rolex. This is an American city. This is not even a third world country. This is an American city that people are robbing people of their stuff in the daytime and ain't even tripping. I bet you that they roll by him. Seen him and was like, hey man, let me go and get let me tie this thing over my face. We're going to double back and we're going to go ahead and rob big homie of his stuff.
Beverly Hills PD has a real-time watch center where virtual officers monitor their citywide camera system.
They immediately accessed the cameras to the area in which the crime, and they were able to identify the suspect vehicle driving away.
A short pursuit ensued, and eventually all 5 suspects from Oakland, California were arrested.
What? You know what? That's a twist. I never expected for them to ever say that they actually arrested the perpetrators. Let me give a round of applause for the Los Angeles Police Department. Round of applause for the Los Angeles Police Department for actually arresting the perps and the suspects.
Minors and
that'll never happen in Chicago.
3 adults, one very much living up to his name, Gangster Lawson.
Great.
Only in LA.
Police work. Excellent, yes.
Now, the suspects are facing 3 charges: robbery, assault with a firearm, and conspiracy.
Hey, you see how scared she was? Look at her.
Great police work. Excellent, yes.
Now, the suspects are facing 3 charges: robbery, assault with a firearm, and conspiracy. The victim was too shaken up to do an interview, but he did say, quote, "This will continue to happen until the punishment fits the crime." Alex, Christine, I'll send it back to you.
She was getting yelled at while she was reporting on a crime on the street, and she was looking up like, yeah, okay, all right. But then over in another part of California, they was over there robbing. I don't even know why they put FedEx on the containers. They over there robbing the containers still on a regular basis. Y'all putting literally billions of dollars into social services and luxury homeless camps, but you can't protect the containers, the shipping containers that's running through LA. You can't get more police officers out there. You can't actually change the laws that ultimately fixes a lot of these criminals and the criminal behavior that's happening over in y'all city and y'all state.
Your spanking new office printer might be delayed a few days in transit if it was parked on a FedEx rail car that was parked here Friday morning near Union Avenue. That rail car, the entire train, sat on those tracks long enough for opportunistic rail car raiders to carry off as many packages as their arms would hold. This was the scene early Friday on the tracks near Union, north of California Avenue. Perhaps a half dozen people helped themselves in broad daylight to large packages from the back of the rail car. We don't know how they gained access to the rail car, for how long, or what was taken. We don't know if more than one rail car was compromised. But we do know the alleged thieves took off in all directions, including this man on an adolescent-sized bicycle who seems to have noticed he was being tailed by our freelance cameraman. After a slow-speed chase that took him through a McDonald's parking lot, the man discarded the package he had taken. Perhaps he intended to come back for it later. This kind of thing is all too common in California, where 54% of rail, highway, and warehouse cargo theft was reported in 2023. That's well ahead of second place Texas, which had 16% of the total. Here you can see the concentration of cargo theft cases on the West Coast, concentrated in the Central Valley and exploding into the Los Angeles basin. 20%.
Let me look at this area. 2 of the red markers is in Los Angeles. 1 of them is in San Francisco. Looks like Houston is right there. I don't think that that's Atlanta. Washington, New York. All of these are in liberal states and in liberal areas. Every last one, well, not a liberal state, but liberal areas, because Dallas, or I'm sorry, Houston is not necessarily a liberal state. Texas is a conservative state, but Houston is a liberal area. All of these places seem to be in pretty much liberal areas where they got all of the lax laws, and I guess that they just expect for the criminals to not do the wrong thing.
Of all cargo theft involves electronics, which appears to be the case here. Overall cargo theft is on the rise too. In 2023, shippers in the U.S. and Canada reported 1,183 cases of cargo thefts, averaging a loss of $587,000 each, for a total of $694 million, according to the risk management company Overhaul Risk Advisory Services. That is a 67% increase over the 2022 average of 351,000, and Overhaul expects that volume to increase another 35% this year.
So basically, they're going to be taking over $1 billion in cargo because they expect for it to increase at least another third this year. It rose by 2/3 last year over the year before. And so basically, long term, we expecting for there to be at least $1 billion in cargo being stolen from these containers that's being shipped across the United States of America, and we can't do nothing about it. 54% of all cargo that's stolen in the United States of America comes outside or out of California. 54%. And we can't do anything about it. We can't trip about it. We can't complain about it. We can't hold nobody accountable. I've seen pictures of different articles that's been sent to me where it basically shows and it highlights how it's just cargo containers that all of the boxes is just thrown everywhere. It ain't even like they not trying to hide it. Seriously, like you can literally just go and look it up. It's all over here. And you could see just the containers just strewn all over the place. And it's all on social media. Like if you go down that dark path on social media, you can see here, I'll share it with you. This is what it be looking like. Like they go in there, they take their time, they throw the boxes everywhere. They're not trying to be discreet about it. They're gonna come in, they're gonna steal their stuff, they're gonna go through to make sure that they get the right type of cargo because they're not listen, it's different than porch pirates. Porch pirates, they just gonna take the risk, they're gonna take it home, they don't know if it's gonna be a tracker on it or something like that. And then they just gonna figure out whether or not they got to hit the jackpot or not. They take their time over there in California and Los Angeles. They just go through and they go through each and every individual package and individual container. They're not worried about no police. They're not worried about getting stopped. They're not worried about crime. They're not even worried about getting no big sentences if they wind up getting caught in the first place. So they just go out there and they just throw it all over the place, and it's just trash everywhere. And the United States of America, especially California, is basically becoming a third world country. These are the type of pictures that I was seeing in the articles that I was seeing on a regular basis. Sometimes I hate some of the stuff that I see coming out of this country, bro. It's bad. It's just so bad, and it's sad that this is the stuff that we got to deal with.
Most of those losses are, of course, of a significant nature. Heists of entire truckloads, hijacking and deceptive pickups among them. But incidents like this, broadly known as pilfering, represent more than a third of all cargo theft. Who cares? Literally, in this case, who cares? BNSF Railroad did not return our calls by airtime, and Bakersfield police had no information on the incident.
The big question is, who pays? Well, in the long run, most likely insurance companies, which means you and I.
Because they just gonna raise rates, they're gonna pass the cost over into the consumers, and then they're gonna pull out of California, or they're gonna pull out, and then they're gonna force them to get insured by somebody else in order for you to be able to get your packages, which then raises the cost of goods and services. So eventually it all gets passed on to you. The insurance company's not gonna lose. The railroad company's not gonna lose. The manufacturers is not gonna lose. You're going to lose.